So we are in the aftermath of Spurs' defeat against Sheffield United, and some people may say it's shocking. A lot of rival fans might say it's shocking. Me, I fully expected this. I mean, it set up perfectly. Tottenham Hotspur is a club that our supporters we know, and it's the joke with others that we bottle. We saw Chelsea drop points. It was a chance for us to come up and take chance, and it was set up perfectly. Sheffield United came into the game poor form, not looking very good at all. Tottenham Hotspur comes into the game off a great victory against West Ham, held their own against a very strong Manchester United team. Looked like a good chance for them. What happens? A shambolic performance. It's just, what do you expect? I mean, you can't get your hopes up. It's the hope that kills you with Tottenham Hotspur. And Jose Mourinho, his tactics, he didn't get them wrong. The team just let him down. I mean, the defensively, something that I've been saying. Oh, I've been championing Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez. They looked like some schoolboys out there. Serge Aurier, someone I rate very highly, he looked shambolic. I don't know what they were trying to do on the counters. I mean, we got killed on counters three times. Three times. That's not acceptable football. We controlled possession. We couldn't break them down. They scored their first goal. What do? We come right back. Maybe like less than a minute later, we come back. We score a goal. It gets disallowed because Lucas Moura was falling, and Sheffield United defender decides to kick the ball off his arm. It's the law. It's a stupid rule. I guess they got it right by the rule of the law, but it's just another. It's Tottenham Hotspur, man. It's just you can't expect anything with this team. You just can't. You got to go in with low expectations because they just kill you, man. But yeah, I mean, the team is just spineless though, because this is my main point that I wanted to bring up after the game, because this is kind of how I felt, is that this team went down 1-0 and then come back, they score quick. Oh, we're still in this game. We're playing great. They get that goal gets disallowed. The team just died out there. I don't know what's going on with the team and why this has been like this throughout for years now. It's been like this for years now, and I've only been a supporter for 2 seasons now. This is my second season as a supporter, but I've looked back at the history. I wanted to know more about this team, and you could see they just fold. This is a team that folds often, and when the pressure gets hot on them, and you just saw it. That's not something that a winning team does when they fold like that after you get a goal disallowed. Jose Mourinho's touched on it. Like, yeah, it stinks. It's a terrible rule. Tottenham should have got that goal, but it doesn't mean you fold and you give up at that point. You still go 110%. And you try to win the game. It's as important 3 points. You can't just let one call that doesn't go your way determine the outcome of the game. And then it just I don't know anymore, man. It's just we have so many players we need to get rid of. If you're not Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, Giovanni Lo Celso, and Tengai and Ndombele, we can have a discussion on that at some point. I think we actually did. We did have a discussion, but I mean, he finally got playing time again. And then Sissoko, we know I'm a Sissoko fanboy, man. That's my guy. But who's really showing heart on this team other than that? And it's just disappointing because we're not playing for the badge. We're giving up after when things get slightly rough, and that's not going to win games.
Yeah. I mean, from an outside perspective, for somebody that doesn't support the team, I never really fancied Mourinho as a manager, and you can argue whether the players are the problem, the manager, whatever you want to do. Their debt's going to be an issue going forward with the new stadium. I just never really – I mean, I understand why Pochettino was let go and fired in whatever month it was. It was early this season.
November.
They're struggling, but you're looking at a team that they still are. They are loaded with attacking talent. Whether it's they're providing the goals and assists that they should be, that's another question. But when you just look based off who they are and how much talent they have, top 4 team that looks right where you should be right there, in my opinion. And it's just not going that way right now. You had, like you said, an opportunity to not only get closer to Chelsea, but Leicester. Two teams in the top four dropped points this week. Like that was a perfect opportunity to get it. And Sheffield was playing bad. Prior to that, they had gotten killed by United. They got unlucky against Aston Villa with the goalie going into the goal. But overall, just I'm shocked almost, but I shouldn't be from an outside perspective because you look at a team that got to the UCL final that had an incredible comeback against Ajax. Lucas had his best night of his career, arguably that night. Like it's 1 year and then you're half a year later they're down in the dumps. I'm completely shocked personally by it because of how much talent you have. Also agree on the point that you have dead wood in the club. You have guys like Toby Alderweireld, you have Vertonghen on I believe expiring deals or they.
Well, Toby's not on an expiring deal. Toby, he actually.
Okay.
Well, here's and I'm going to give you some context here. From once 2019 hit, the club just became shambolic. Like that UCL run covered up a lot of loose holes. Like there was a lot of problems that was going on. We limped our way to a top four finish that year. We're losing games we shouldn't have won. I mean, when Pochettino got sacked, we hadn't won an away game in 18 months, I think it was, or something like that, or 18 games. Like he could not win away in the league. It was time for him to go as much as I hate it because we weren't supporting him financially. But this has been a long time coming. This team, we needed a painful rebuild, something that Mauricio Pochettino said. We're going to need a painful rebuild. Levy didn't let that happen. And then this is what happens. You have players in the club who just don't care anymore. And also, may I add, I do want to mention this because I know Spurs fans are going to get outraged with me if I don't mention this real quick. I forgot to say Stevie Bergwijn can stay in the club as well. I left him out, but that's my guy, and that's a lot of Spurs fans' guy, and I don't want to shaft him because I love that guy, and he's a stud.
I can keep going.
Well, yeah, keep going. I just wanted to give some context to what was happening beforehand.
Yeah, but like you said, there are players that they can still build around, but you're looking at a Harry Kane. Honestly, he's got injury problems. You can't. There's no way to get around it. When he's on the field, typically he's putting up goals. He's one of the best strikers in the world. But when you're getting injured and you're missing half the season or you're missing long stretches of the season, that hurts. That's not the only problem. That's not the main problem, even. He was one of the big injuries earlier in the season because you had Eric Lamela starting up top. I'm not sure who the exact lineup was, but overall, there was Human Son's gone out, but he's had things with the military back home. But there was a lot of problems going on, and like you said, it was covered up by their UCL run, and who knows where the club would be if that UCL run never happened, because you could have went out in the round of 16. The quarters maybe would have been a good run for you, but I honestly don't. For me personally, I don't think Mourinho is the answer. I think that's a short-term solution. I don't think his play style fits this era where it's so heavily on attack. The Man Cities of the world, the Liverpools, the Bayern Munichs of the world, they're all so heavily attacked. They have good defenders and a good defensive structure, but it starts from the front. You have, for example, Bayern Munich, Lewandowski, and he's a Ballon d'Or nominee this year for sure. You have Liverpool with the front three. You have Manchester City, who has attack full of it. That's where Spurs should be. Spurs has if not there, they're right behind them with the loaded attack. You have Kane, Son, Lucas, Bergwijn, Dele Alli. It's just loaded. But it's shocking to see a team with that much talent be so bad against some of these teams in the Premier League. Like, yes, Sheffield United have had a great season, but they're in terrible form. How do you lose? And one bad thing, a VAR call it whether you want to say it's a good call, bad rule. The point is you cannot let one call, if you're a top four team, you can't let it blow the game. Like, it doesn't make sense. You have to have a better mentality. And it's shocking. And like you said, it's the UCL final and that run. like it's just a window. It's just a blanket that's blocking it from people seeing the real view of Tottenham Hotspur at this point in time. Because if they had a good mentality to get there, why can't you do it in the Premier League in a game you should win?
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. It's just shocking, and I'm just gonna let Jacob rip into my Spurs real quick because I know he's waiting for, and you know what, rightfully so, rightfully so. So go ahead, my guy.
It's funny how football works because 2 3 weeks ago, Arsenal asking the same questions. What are we even doing here? Why are we? We were I think 11th at one point, and we were just like, oh, Arteta's trash, Pepe's trash, our team is in shambles. And then what happens? We get good results, and now we're a whole different club now. And Spurs now, who look like they were ascending, had a good result against Man U, played well, and now look at where they're at now. And when I go at Spurs right now, I'm not going to go at Jose Mourinho, who I've been critical of in the past, who I think is washed, who I think his play style does not suit the Premier League for success right now. I'm not going to go attack him because I think he got his tactics right this game. I agree with you, Joe. I think it was the players. I think it came down to all 11 players really just saying, well, maybe not Hugo Lloris, maybe, just because his defense, though, and the midfield and the attack just unable to break down Sheffield United, who, granted, Chris Wilder has a very organized team. They know they're not going to be the most talented team every time they go out there. They're going to stay organized, compact, and counter. I get that. But when your midfield is dominating possessionally, like they have the ball for most of the game, they're dictating the tempo of the game, getting passes, linking up play, and they just either are getting broken down because that last ball isn't good enough, or Kane can't finish, or whatever it is, Son can't finish. And then you have that the call that happened there where you think, oh, VAR messes us up again. Well, really it's a really bad rule that's written down and they have to follow the rules there. And then they just decide, okay, we're gonna throw the game now. We're just gonna just give up. We're gonna kind of put up a little bit of a fight, but if we don't score, we're gonna put our heads down. Davinson Sanchez is just gonna start fouling people. Dyer is gonna lose his head. Aurier out of the game, really. Ben Davies didn't hear his name really at all second half, really, other than he got subbed off at the end, maybe injured. I don't really know where to really go with it. I mean, Mourinho isn't to blame for this loss. I think it's the team. I think it's their mentality. I think it's they don't have confidence. They look like going forward, they have Lo Celso looks good going forward. And Ndombele when he came on looked like he was actually pretty trying to create a spark. Had a couple good passes trying to get players in. Kane needed service. He got some service, but it was either too late or obviously getting the goal at the end, or players around him not doing enough. And I think this game has kind of showed me Kane, how Spurs fans rate Kane so highly. How long can he really stay at Spurs and not win anything before you start to wonder, if I had gone to this club or this club, would I have won something? And that's not to really go after Spurs as a whole. I mean, maybe it kind of is, but how long can Kane stay there, not win, and then be in a couple of years 33, 34 and be like, I was the best striker in the Prem, but I could not win a thing my whole career. How long does it take for you to realize I have to make a move away? Is he gone this summer? Is he gone next summer? We don't know. If he goes, he'll be up for a big fee. He's one of the best strikers in the world. I think he's one of the best finishers in the world. But if this is where Spurs are at right now, why are you staying? And especially when you have a defensive-minded coach that is prone to causing dressing room problems and you're not winning games, not like the guy that's a serial winner is getting results for you right now, why are you staying if you're Harry Kane? Why are you staying if you're Heung-min Son, who is younger than Kane, and I think he's younger than Kane. He should be younger than Kane, if I'm not mistaken. And I think has a higher ceiling because he's a good winger and can play up top as well. Why are you saying I want to stay at Tottenham when I'm not winning anything? And Joe could get into the ownership Enoch and the board and whatever else that is corrupted the club as well, that have trickled down to the players. But I mean, it comes down to performances, really. You play well against Man U. I don't watch all that game, but supposed to play well against Man U. And then since then, it seems like there's this spark missing. I don't really know where to go from here. I think, at least with the defense, Spurs, I spoke to Joe about this, their defense is better than Arsenal's. Arsenal's defense is shambles, except for our left back, really. Our center backs are garbage. Hector is very iffy. But I think Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davies, and Serge Aurier are just a little bit better than Arsenal's defense, and they're shambles. Everyone say they're shambles. It's only a little bit better than Arsenal's defense. How good are they really? Are they a top 4 defending core? No. I think their midfield is possibly top 4. Their attack possibly top 4. But the defense, with what Mourinho has and how he plays, terrible, unacceptable. I think Spurs, they need something. They need multiple things actually, and I don't know what it is right now. It's gonna maybe new players coming in, but with their debt problems, I don't know how it's gonna work. You know, a new mentality from the players, some confidence, some we can go into a game and handle business against Sheffield United, against I don't know who you played before, but West Ham. I think you handle business there. But like whoever you play next, I don't know what your next fixture is.
Everton.
Everton team that is iffy, but like they won their last game. They're in form, and I believe they actually just beat Leicester, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they did.
Yesterday. I believe so.
A Leicester team they're a Leicester team that's out of form.
Still,
But granted, yeah, it's if you're going into the Everton game, if I'm Everton, I'm licking my lips. I'm thinking this Spurs team is dead. I'm if I'm Richarlison, I'm attacking you. Because if he's putting Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez out there, or Toby Alderweireld or Jan Vertonghen, they're having a field day. I mean, at this point, Mourinho, give him a shot at what, right back or left back. I mean, I don't care who he plays.
Center back, I don't care. He needs to be out there. He's a great youngster.
Why not? Why not? I mean, you're in the thick of like, okay, Arsenal's one result away from dropping down more. Burnley could drop points. Sheffield United could drop points as well. And you could be right back in the top 6 race. But at this point, what has your defense shown you that makes you think, yeah, I'm confident that we can get top 6, top 7 now with those guys? Why not play Tanganga? You know, why not play Ryan Sessegnon if he's fit? Why not? Because I think that, you know, Spurs have the depth. They have the talent to be a top 6 team this season. Going further, I'm not sure because of, you know, people leaving and who they bring in. But this season, it's been a year of it's been strange for Spurs. It's been bizarre because usually they're a team that finishes in the top 5 recently, top 4, top 5, and they have their ups and downs, but it's more ups and downs usually. And this year started off poorly, and they had their runs, but then they just can't get over the hump. It's just like this constant feeling of, are we really good enough to be top 4, top 5? And today showed that, you know, Sheffield just had superior mentality to you. They went up 1-0 and were like, you know what, we're going to put this game to bed. Even if they're a team that should be relegation side, they should be. But they're just showing you that they look like the top 5 team, top 6 team. I don't know.
Yeah, like I've said this to you multiple times. We have a Cleveland Browns mentality. We have talent. We should be competing for a trophy. We do compete for a trophy, but we can never get over the hump because losing is ingrained in Tottenham Hotspur. And I know I sound like I'm picking on my own club, but you know what? Tough love, it has to be said. Has to be said. Tottenham Hotspur is just – we have won one title in one trophy in 2 decades. I'm not – it's just we're ingrained to not be able to win a title. A title, a trophy, doesn't matter. Anytime we get close, start Son at left wing back against Chelsea in the FA Cup semifinals. It's just like this team doesn't know. They get close to their goal and then they just capitulate. I don't understand. And I think part of the reason is obviously they're not backed financially. Jeff Bezos, if you're watching this, please buy Tottenham. Please. Give me that Amazon money. But, I mean, I saw something funny today on Twitter. Spurs are lower on the table than they are richest club in the world. They're the 8th richest club in the world. Yet, they're 9th, 10th now on the table. I mean, it's despicable. And Levy and Enoch and Joe Lewis, they all have blood on their hands for ruining such a great club and going through our glory years that we've had recently and not getting a title because of their refusal to spend money. And I can't wait for them to all leave my club. They're frauds. And, yeah, I just would like to see a trophy at some point. That's all I got to say.
the rough thing about ownership and the leadership of clubs is Arsenal is the same thing because like Spurs, Arsenal will continue to bring money in because they're big clubs that will spend money. Well, they won't spend that much money, but they'll get profit, and those at the top will see the profit and they will grow and they'll realize, well, we're doing this well without pretty much putting any money into the club, so why put money into the club anyways? So Enoch, those guys, they'll continue to get more money from Spurs, Kroenke from Arsenal, and they won't put money into the club unless something big happens. And it's rough because Arsenal goes through the same thing too. I don't know how it is from Spurs' perspective, really. I know Arsenal's how it is, but it's rough. It's a tough to kind of try to compete with teams that are built, that are backed. Their managers are backed with money. Their ownership wants them to see them succeed, and it isn't all in for the money. It isn't all in for a cash grab. Like the Liverpool's a good example of that. City, they're literally only financial backing. Literally, Liverpool, they built it up. They did that from scratch, really. But Arsenal, Spurs, those next teams that should be right there with those guys, they're falling short. And it's sad to see, really.
So yeah, that's our opinion on what happened with Tottenham Hotspur against Sheffield United, and we'll see what happens from here. How will the table finish out? And keep it locked in on the channel because we got some hot topics and great banter and discussions coming soon.